Hello. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. What do you think? What do you think? He always looks like he's just a deer in headlights. You guys have bad angles on him. Look at this. Bad angles. Look at the cute face. Look at the cute face. Are you ready to go back down to the bed? Yo, everyone. Oh, there we go. Today is a miracle. It is a miracle brought to us by Q-tips. Detailing Q-tips. Not sponsored. Wow, folks, if you don't follow me on my socials or on my Ko-Fi, you may not know that Jones, in an effort to force me to pay attention to him, decided to projectile vomit on my laptop and in such a way that it just went like straight into the USB-C port and the HDMI port of my laptop. Like, just all up in there. And he also did it where I didn't have like my hands free. I was cooking. Like, I couldn't just handle the matter right away. I had to put things down, turn things off. I had to deal with it all. And so things were just seeping into areas of my laptop that I had no control over. Oh, you jonesing for Jones. Let's bring him back up here. And come here, get. Oh, I know. He's like, Mom. Come here. People are jonesing for Jones. They're jonesing for Jones. Look. I think they want to properly shame you because I didn't even have the heart to yell at him because this is just part of the breed. It's part of who Jones is. We know that when he eats food, I should just lock him into like a solitary chamber. Oh, you're so tired. I should lock him in a solitary chamber for like at least 30 minutes to an hour because after he eats, if he gets excited in any way, if there's a cat on our front porch, if he gets excited because Booger's excited, if he gets anxious or stressed, it just all comes out in vomit. If you look at him the wrong way and he gets excited about it, then here, everybody is jonesing for you. Just one more time. Just look at the face. Look at the face. We have a lot to cover today. You ready to go back down again? Say bye, everybody. Bye. By the way, when he was a puppy, I literally just like a rag doll. I would just do whatever I wanted. And so he really got used to that. He can pretty much sleep through anything I do to him. So anyway, yeah, it just comes with the breed. So I didn't even have the heart to yell at him, but I did take a very cute picture of him and post it on my socials and asked everyone else to shame him for me, which didn't work because everybody just thought he was super cute. Look at this. Somebody is just redeem. All right, let's get to it because I have so much to cover because I'm so excited. It is not quite technically my horror movie watching season, but I started a little bit early because I have a lot of traveling that will be coming up in the fall and starting the new year. And so I thought, because I'll be traveling and I won't have the opportunity to watch as much as I normally do, let's start a little bit early, which kind of happens just like what's the word I'm thinking of? Just like the malls and consumer products, my season just starts a little bit earlier every year. All right, let's get to some of these redeems. Hi, Geeky. How are you? All right, so we did Jonesing for Jones. Thank you for that. We're going to go ahead and do our random bean, our hydrate, and our aroma. Yeah, spooky season, I think pretty much next year. It's just going to start July 5th, right after July 4th. Like, there's nothing else to be excited about after 4th of July. All right, here we go. Random bean. All right. I did it too fast that I wasn't feeling vibes. I'm getting red. I'm getting red off of this one. Ooh. I don't know. I haven't had a red one in a while. Okay, here we go. All right. No, that tastes like orange. It tastes like tangerine, I think. You'd think Jelly Belly would do nothing against Jelly Belly, but, and maybe it's just a sugar-free brand, but I feel like their flavors are not quite 100% there, or else I should be able to clearly identify them with my eyes closed. I don't know. Thank you for redeeming Random Bean. I'm so sorry I didn't get a licorice for you today. All right. Let's hydrate. I just have my daily drinker today because it's a busy day. I didn't really have time to pull out any of my fancy teacups. What's going on with my hair today? All right. And then let's do aroma. All right, we're going to roll for aroma. I had a D6 out. I did not have a D20 out. Next time, Perty, I'm going to get you and your little dog too. Ooh, let's use this pretty liquid core dice. Let's not lose it. Liquid core dice for my roll for aroma. I got a 15. I don't think I've had a 15 before. Whoa. Let's see what I get. Sorry, guys. Everything is everywhere today. Been dealing with some things. What did I say? 15? That would be, ooh, interesting. Basil. I don't think I've ever gotten this one for roll for aroma. I'm excited about this. Oh. Okay. It has almost a minty smell. I can smell the basil. Okay, if I take a minute to like let it sit, I can smell the basil. It almost smells like a Thai basil. Like if you eat, if you've had pho, that basil definitely has a distinct flavor and smell from like basil, like Italian, I don't know if it's Italian basil, but the stuff that you would normally have at Italian restaurants. This is so interesting. Okay, hold on. That was a little too close. Hold on. I want it to sit because it just smells, usually it smells different on my skin than it does in the bottle. Okay. This one does not. This is interesting. It might change over time. I find that sometimes the smell changes throughout the day. Geeky will tell you because I can't remember which one it was, but I had put one on that was roll for aroma, and as the day progressed, it started to smell like licorice. And I don't know if that was like a subliminal thing, but it was like, it smelled great going on, and then I don't love licorice, but anyway. Yeah, right now it just still smells like basil. So we'll see. It's not a bad smell. I don't know how to feel about it. It kind of feels like when you leave gum in your pocket too long or something, you know, in your purse, if you have a purse. Anyway, all right. Thank you for redeeming roll for aroma. By the way, that lemongrass the other day was amazing. I would love to roll for that every single time. That lemongrass is, I think, quickly becoming one of my favorite scents. All right, so much to cover, and it is podcast day. I only have an hour. I got to wrap this up, and we're already 9 minutes in. Oh, I'm going to add that to I'm going to say, hold on. I have a cool thing to tell you about, but I'm going to have to save it for State of the Nerd. All right. La, 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 la. Just putting a little reminder so I don't forget. Okay. Last week, we talked about world building and generating ideas, right? I'm on this whole world building series and kind of how to world build. We started off with what even is world building? What isn't world building? What do you consider world building to be? Then we talked about, okay, generating ideas for world building. How do we generate ideas? Especially if you are not someone who ideas come to naturally and often. Now, we're going to talk about, okay, so you have the idea. How do we expand upon that idea to world build? Okay. Essentially, this is world building 3, cause and effect. All right. So the number one mistake, I think, new world builders, maybe even regular, I don't want to say new world, no. A number one mistake world builders can make is creating very cool things and they exist in a vacuum. All right. So the fact that the thing exists can be cool in itself, right? The fact that it exists can be cool. However, I think what's more interesting is what has changed because your cool thing exists. Everybody wants to create, like, if you're going to, model after Brandon Sanderson, you want to make really cool magic systems, and you can totally do that. But how does that cool magic system affect the world, the economy, the flora, the fauna, the cosmos, like any of that? That, I think, is really the more interesting thing aside from your cool thing that you created, right? So let's talk about this. All right. If your cool thing in your story is dragons, or let's even go one further. Your cool thing isn't just dragons. They are whale dragons. Okay, that's cool. That's different. You can talk about how cool whale dragons are and what they look like and how they operate and where they live. But let's consider, well, how did your world change because there is such a thing as whale dragons? Like, can these whale dragons fly out of the ocean? Do they fly in the sky? Do they attack people living on land? Do they even care about the people living on the land, or do they only care about people on the ocean? Maybe. Let's say it flies because it's a dragon, right? Dragons fly. They're going to live all over the world. Then are the cities built underground to avoid dragon fire? Are the roofs made of stone or fireproof materials, fire-resistant materials versus wood and flammable materials? If you have livestock, do you keep them indoors? Is there such a thing as dragon insurance in your world? Those are very strange and interesting things that you can have because dragons exist in your world. Let's find another one. Healing magic. All right. Healing magic is an interesting one because, like, you could really take that one far. I mean, there might not be any surgeons in your world if everything can be healed. So then, is there even a line of practice that is like being a doctor? Are doctors only there to give diagnoses and then they like, hey, healer, over here, come over here, tackle this one. This one I diagnosed with a cold. Can you please heal that? Oh no, this one needs a new kidney. Can you please just heal that? Like, are they just there to give diagnoses, or are there even doctors? Like, are the healers doctors? How does that present itself in your world if there is such a thing as healing magic? That is interesting. What about warfare? If healing is such a thing and soldiers can survive more injuries, does warfare become even more brutal because they have to do more damage for war to be effective, right? Like, that is so interesting. And how do they make it more brutal? I mean, some of the worst things immediately come to mind for me, and I don't even want to go there with that, but just like, how brutal can you get if you have healing magic? Do people live longer? Then what are the effects of that? Because that's a whole trickle-down effect to the entire world and society and cultures and, So let's talk about the real world. Hey, how are you? Thank you for joining. And no, I don't love licorice. All right. Let's talk about the real world. Okay, we were talking about fantasy worlds and world building and how one really cool thing can affect your entire world, right? The internet. The internet arrived And at first we were just like, oh, cool, we can email and talk with people from the other side of the world without having to wait for snail mail. But that's not all that it was. It is still evolving and changing our society in so many ways. It is touching all crevices of the world. We have harnessed it for dating. We have harnessed it for shopping, education, entertainment, jobs, politics. Like, the internet touches everything. And even if it doesn't affect everything directly, it will then affect things indirectly, I'm sure, such as the environment and the flora and the fauna and the impact on our weather systems and all of it. Trickle down. One invention, thousands of consequences. So what I propose when we're talking about cause and effect and world building is you need to there are questions you can ask yourself to dig deeper into how this one cool thing that you create can affect so many things. And I want you to make sure that you don't stop at the first level. Dig deeper. All right. So the first level was, cool, we have dragons. All right, we're going to build cities underground. My world is going to have underground cities because there are dragons. That's the level number one. Dig deeper. So we have civilizations built underground. Now what does that look like? Do people become mole people? Do they get poor eyesight? Do they have pale skin? Or is there some other effect to living underground for so long? Maybe their main source of nutrition is something that they can only grow underground, like fungus, right? Because I don't know how livestock will survive underground. Maybe they don't. Or maybe now there's other creations that have to be built so that we can have livestock and full-on gardening underground. What if dragons eventually evolve into burrowing creatures? Now imagine whale dragons burrowing and treating the land as like an ocean. It's starting to get really nuts, but really cool and really interesting. So continue to dig that level deeper and another level deeper. Or if you want to think of it as ripples, you drop a stone into water and it's not just a single ripple. There is ripple after ripple after ripple after ripple cascading away from this single point in the water. So however you want to think about it, you want to continue to dig deeper and deeper and deeper until you get to a point where you feel like you have something truly unique and that truly resonates with the story you want to tell. All right, so let's talk about some of the other questions that you can ask yourself to do this digging, this digging deeper into further layers. How much work lore is too much lore? That is a very great question. World lore. Okay, good. Yes, how much world lore is too much world lore? That's great. I'm going to talk about that in just a minute. So, let's talk about the questions on how you can dig deeper. So, if you're going to create a cool thing, start with your one thing, right? Who benefits from this cool thing being in existence? And who suffers? Because essentially, when you're telling a story, the people who are going to be engaging with your story, they care, or at least you want them to care about the people in your world, which means they're going to have to find someone to relate to, and they will either relate to the people who benefit from this thing or the people who suffer from it. And when you have both people in that world, then there's conflict. And the conflict is the juicy bits that people want to see, want to experience. They wonder, like, oh my gosh, how are they going to make this work? How are they going to get out of this? How are they going to have a happy ending? So the conflict of the thing that you have created is, I think, where the juicy bits are, okay? Who fears this thing? What if the cool thing is in existence, but someone is like, oh no, this can't go. Okay, how about this? So we talked about dragons, whale dragons. They're starting to burrow underground. Not all of them, but we have a few that have evolved. Who fears that the most? We do not want burrow. We've already figured out how to deal with whale dragons in the ocean and in the sky. We can't have them underneath the ground where we live. That is a fear. How are they going to tackle that? What jobs exist because of this cool thing? All right, we have whale dragon hunters. That could be a job. We could have specific people who excel at building shelters underneath the ground that dragons cannot burrow into because they're made of 6-foot metal walls structures. You know, those are jobs that exist because whale dragons exist in your world. What beliefs or traditions form around it? And this is all centered around, when you think about this, this is like all what has affected how has this affected the people, the society, the world, right? Are there people who believe that the whale dragon should not be killed because they have a purpose in this world and we just haven't figured that out yet? They are gods. We should worship them. Get out of here, you. All right. What traditions? Are there traditions? Maybe there's a time of the year, time of the month, time of the week when this dragon likes to burrow underground. And so every Monday, the entire underground society will rise up to the surface in order to, save themselves from burrowing day. I don't know. What laws are created from this? Boy, I can't think of one off the top of my head, and I should be able to. There is a law that you cannot build structures, unburrowable structures near fungus farms because it prevents the fungus farms from expanding. I don't know. That's probably a poor law. I could do better than that, given the time. And all these questions essentially point to, where is the conflict? What is the conflict in your story? Yeah, it could be the world needs to save themselves from whale dragons, or it could also be whale dragons are a menace, but there might be a reason now. We've been living under the surface for so many years. It's time to resurface. And maybe that is the conflict because they've now adapted to living underground, and now living on the surface is such a whole new alien thing that is the new world. That's the alien thing. It's weird, it's new, it's interesting. All of that. Now, to the question asked about how much lore is too much lore. I might have mentioned this in a previous podcast, but 9 out of 10 writers that I know who write for their job, however you want to call it, who write on a very regular basis and produce products with their writing, what I hear them say, and what I also tend to agree with, it works for me, is you build enough to start the story. Because eventually what happens is there's this thing, I think it's commonly called world builder's disease, but it is so much fun to world build. It is so much fun to think about all these fun and cool and amazing things, and you feel like you're creating something new with every thought. But if you never finish that story, then no one gets to enjoy it but you. So you have to get to a point where you stop world building and you finish the story. And to do that, like I think I mentioned this, you cannot build an entire world brick by brick, pixel by pixel, 100% of the world. I just don't see that happening because we in the real world are not done world building, right? Like I said, the internet came around how many years ago, and we're still learning how to use it, create with it, new things are coming because of internet and how it impacts our society. We're still not done with it. It's not 100%, even though it exists in our world. So think of it that way. If you are world building in a fantasy world, a sci-fi world, a fictional world, then what you need to do is world build to a point where you have enough framework to say, okay, I can tell this story. And you know that there are placeholders like, oh, I didn't create this town yet, but the story's not in that town. Do we need to create that town right now? Maybe not. Let's wait and see if we get there. I could almost also what's the word I'm trying to think of? I can create also a similar analogy for running TTRPGs. If you have ever homebrewed your own world, almost all the DMs will tell you, like, you can over prep for a session. You can definitely spend hours and hours. You can spend an entire week planning a session that your players will only engage in like 10% of it. They will only have engaged in, like, they found this one room and this one door, and then they noped on out of there and went to the next town, even though you built this entire town. And in the end of the entire campaign, they never even went back to visit 90% of that town. That is overbuilding. And maybe it is helpful to you to have the context that of, like, well, because I built this entire town, I know the economy of the town, and I know that these NPCs do this, and I know, and that can be helpful to you because you are then providing context clues to your readers, to your audience, that there is more of a world out there. And people enjoy that. They don't want to feel like they are only scratching the surface of your world. They just may not go out and experience your entire world, but they like to know that it's there. So having that little bit of extra world building isn't bad. You just have to find a point when you have done enough world building that you can start the story. And if you need to continue world building as you build the story, you can do that. Or you world build enough so that you know you have enough for the start, the middle, and the end. That is enough world building. It's kind of a nebulous answer to give you. There's no one right or wrong answer, but whatever gets you to finish the story, that is the right answer, because no one else will be able to experience it except for you. That is essentially what's been lighting my bulb, okay? World building could be about adding more and more and more things to your world. But I propose that it could be one thing, I don't know why I'm doing this, one thing, and that one thing can change your entire world, can affect your entire world. And those are two different ways of looking at world building. But I think with this one thing and how it impacts everything, you find there are a bunch of interesting little things about your one thing. So everything you build supports the one cool thing that you have built. So I hope that you have enjoyed that little rabbit hole into what I'm calling World Building 3, Cause and Effect. All right, on to State of the Nerd. Just a quick State of the Nerd, because right before I was on this stream, my stream, podcasting, I was on someone else's stream. They are part of Oh-How, and I'm sure if you've listened to me, you've heard me talk about Oh-How, 100 Hours of Writing. I was part of the event last week, and I truly, truly enjoyed it. I have been dropping into their streams when I can, because it's a whole new community that I have found that I really enjoy. I have my gaming community, and now I feel like I have this co-working, writing community. It's amazing. Well, anyway, I was on that stream, and they told me my Oh-How stream on Saturday is ranked number 1 on the leaderboard as having the most words and minutes for the 2-hour streams. So in case you don't have a frame of reference for what Oh-How is, it's an entire weekend where a bunch of writing, co-working streamers, creatives, tag team each other for 2-hour sprints for the entire weekend. So you have an entire weekend of co-working, writing, focus, motivation, whatever it is that you need. And my 2-hour stream I thought would be like, it was fairly late for me, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m., knowing that I'm in the Pacific time zone. Anybody who's east of me, it's even later. I had, I think, somewhere like 24 to 26 viewers at one point, which is the most I've had in a while, ever. And I didn't know what to expect. I had no clue that I was on the leaderboard. So they notified me while I was in someone else's stream. They were like, Amber, did you see that? Did you see that? And I was like, no, shut the front door. Anyway, I'll have to go digging and see if I can find that exact information. I haven't had time, but how cool. So anyway, celebrate with me. I love OHOW. All right. On that note, Operation Literacy. My OHOW stream was also raising funds for Operation Literacy. Thank you for celebrating with me. And I was able to raise some funds, but I didn't meet my goal of 100. And so I am currently leaving that charity open, that charity fundraiser open on my stream. So if you don't see the Operation Literacy at the top of the chat because you are on computer, or because you're on mobile, you may not see it. There is a link that should have been popping into my chat letting you know how to find the information to donate via mobile. But Operation Literacy is an amazing organization. We're actually ramping up to start selling tickets to StoryCon next year. So if you want to learn about Operation Literacy, if you want to learn about StoryCon, they are starting to run some contests for young writers. Again, their mission is focused on inspiring the next generation. So while my viewers may be adults, you may have teens, tweens, young adults who also want to be writers. And if you want to help inspire them, please show them the Operation Literacy website, StoryCon website, and they can enter into writing contests for like first chapter, first line. There's a bunch of them. I think they even had like a script writing one last year, which was super cool. So, all that to say, donate, please donate. I want to reach my goal of $100 before I go to my tabletop cruise. And then, check out Operation Literacy and StoryCon if you are interested in finding a whole other community of writers and support a good cause. All right. I have one more announcement. Calling all game masters. Paging you, game masters, TTRPG enthusiasts, people who want to run TTRPGs. Pacificon Game Expo is expanding its tabletop RPG. I can say it. RPG. Reset. Zip, zip, zip. Pacificon Game Expo is expanding its tabletop RPG programming, and I am helping them. Because I just can't say no to a good thing. But I really love going to Pacificon. I support their family of conventions. We're looking for GMs to run games like D&D, Pathfinder, Morkborg, Call of Cthulhu, indie RPGs, you name it, all right? We are looking for you. We want to expand our tabletop gaming program. Last year, we invited Gooey Cube, and they showed up in full force. We had 4 different tables running Gooey Cube games nonstop. Now, Pacificon right now is a little bit more like board gaming and war gaming and miniatures and all that other stuff. But we really want to expand the TTRPG programming. So what we are doing, what I'm working towards, is reaching out to my connections in the industry to gather fun, cool loot that we can put together in a GM appreciation bundle packed with goodies to thank you for volunteering your time. Also, if you volunteer to run 8 hours of TTRPG games for the weekend, your entire badge for Pacificon is free. That is unheard of. If you go to gaming conventions, you will see that they usually request about 16 hours, or if you look at the extension of their their convention, let's say it's a 4-day convention, they expect you to run 1 game a day, 4 hours, meaning 16 hours, okay? Pacificon is different. And 8 hours of gaming is so doable. So you run 2 days or even 2 sessions on 1 day and your badge is free. I hope you consider, I'm going to pop the link in the chat. It is in Northern California, Santa Clara. Oh no, I have an ad that I'm going to snooze real quick because I want to continue talking about this. All right. There is Pacificon's link. All right. So if you've ever wanted to run a game at a convention, if you're already a seasoned convention GM, we would love you to join us. All right. So you're going to go to that link. You're going to get your, not get your badge. You're going to reach out to Pacificon Game Expo. I am also going to put my email in here because I am technically the RPG coordinator. I guess that's the title I have been given. But please, you can also email me. Or if you are in the industry and you want to donate to the GM Appreciation Bundle, that is another thing I want to talk about because we have so many people in the industry already. I have someone who has donated an entire huge adventure, including VTT maps and tokens. It is about a $300 value. All right. There are other TTRPG folks in the industry who have sent me other adventures. I'm putting in my Tooth Mother's ladle and my creature companions that I've created. There are other tokens. There's discounts to other people's online sites. I haven't even finished collecting everything, let alone put everything up on the site. If you want to donate to the GM Appreciation Bundle, please email me because we will put your logo up on the site. We will mention you as a sponsor for the GM Appreciation Bundle so it gets your name out there to the people who are interested in your things. I don't even know how I feel like I am a car salesman. I'm like, waka, waka, waka. You guys need to get on this right now. So I just do it. I don't know what else I could say. Yes, please. Gooey Cube, we're already working with them to get them there. I am going to be running my Liquid Hot Magma. I'm going to be running some seminars there. We need you. Come help make Pacificon one of the best TTRPG conventions out there. All right. And you get to see me and hang out with me. Why not? Woo. All right. That was a mouthful. But I am super excited about it. You can tell because my levels just go up. I can't control myself. But we're going to move on to Ad-Hoc Hooey because I'm so excited. I have been telling you all that my horror movie watching season is coming up and I have just released, what's the word I'm thinking of? I have released the Banshee is what my brain is telling me I'm saying. I finally let myself watch horror last night, and I started with The Back Rooms. Oh my God. So much fun. If you don't know the lore about The Back Rooms, I highly suggest, without spoiling the movie, you go to YouTube and search The Back Rooms, but try to find stuff that's talking about like the origin of The Back Rooms and not the movie. It's so cool. It's so cool. Anyway, can't talk too much about it. I don't want to ruin anything. But I'm so excited for horror movie watching season. I can't contain myself. So, it is Ad-Hoc Hooey time. We spent about 4 weeks doing some world building with pirates. We are now going to do some horror world building. Okay. I've never been so excited. All right. Ad-Hoc Hooey. Let's go over these settings, plots, encounters, NPCs. I should have accounted for the fact that this one is going to take a little bit longer because it's the first one. But I will also, if you didn't know, I have a Ko-Fi. And I'm going to put this entire list in my Ko-Fi so that people can reference it for the future weeks because we are going to use this list for the next, this podcast plus 3. So a total of 4 podcasts. We're going to do Ad-Hoc Hooey with this same list. So let's get into it. Setting. Horror settings. We have abandoned village, a fishing village. I'm sorry. I'm already messing up. An abandoned hospital, a fishing village, a forgotten carnival, an ancient forest, a manor or mansion or some grand house, grand building, if you will, and a subway. So this is our setting. We are about to have an ad. So for those of you who are not subscribed to me, I'm so sorry. I'm just going to be rolling for these things, and we will not do anything too exciting until you get back. If you would like to subscribe to me and you have Amazon Prime, then it is free. All right, we rolled a number 3. So we have a forgotten carnival. All right, our plots are: something buried has been uncovered, and it's affecting people. A loved one returns home after years away, but something's not right. A town follows one strange tradition. I am not a voice actor. A town follows one strange tradition, and breaking it has or will awaken something ancient. So that was number 3. A mysterious object grants wishes, but all is not what it seems. The last person to know the truth of something vanishes. And the last one is: something unseen has been hunting the area. Every victim leaves behind the same clue. All right, 6 different plots. Let's see what we're going to have to go with our forgotten carnival. Woo. That was a number 6. All right. So right now we have forgotten carnival. Something unseen has been hunting the area. Every victim leaves behind the same clue. Right now, I'm going to wait until the ad's over. But where my brain's going is, my brain always goes to interesting places. All right, let's talk about the encounters. We have 6 different encounters. The first one: escape or capture the pursuer, convince the last survivor, the sealed chamber, fight what lurks within, endure the deadly environment, and sabotage the mission. All right, so those are our 6 encounters. We have a 5, endure the deadly environment. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and roll the other 2 just so we have everything ready. NPCs, we have skeptical authority, an occult scholar, grieving relative, eccentric hermit, innocent child, and the stranger. Whoop, give me that. That was a 4. Eccentric hermit. All right, and then for loot, we have a journal, a forgotten cache of blank, evidence, a hidden weakness, a doll, and a music box. All right, so I'm going to roll for loot. That is a number 2. Oh, I was hoping for that. A forgotten cache of blank. All right, so let us summarize what we have here. Oh, I'm so excited. Okay, so our setting is a forgotten carnival. I think someone in my chat already said, yay, clowns. Yay, clowns, yes. I think we could go with clowns. I mean, people, there is a reason why there is a phobia about clowns. I mean, that is probably the number one thing people are going to go to for a forgotten carnival. I am going to keep my brain open for any other ideas as we walk through and connect all these pieces. Because there could be mimes. Mimes kind of fall in line with clowns, I think, as well. I don't know if it's the face makeup or like the fact that they're also dressed like strangely. But for me, the fact that mimes like are so quiet, kind of freaky. They kind of freak me out. All right. Forgotten carnival. Something unseen has been hunting the area. Every victim leaves behind the same clue. Now, when I read that the first time, my brain kind of thought about like the clown's red nose. And so at the scene of every crime, if you will, or every victim either has a red nose or like, or there's a red nose found. Now, here's the thing. I kind of want to stretch myself here because this could easily lean towards modern horror, right? I'm thinking Five Nights at Freddy's and things like that. But I also think because the majority of folks who play TTRPGs probably are in a medieval fantasy setting, I want to consider that as well. Like, can we fit this into a like standard TTRPG model if we wanted to create an adventure? So in that case, I mean, it could be like someone who is instead of I mean, there were clowns back then, or jesters. And jesters also kind of have a freaky thing because like they have the hat, and imagine if there was like, you know, the little bells on the hat, so you could have like those scary, creepy, quiet moments, and then all of a sudden you hear like the little tinkling of a bell because you know something is coming at you. That could be really cool. Somebody who's like a tumbler, and so you just see like shadows like tumbling around. All right, moving on. The encounter is that they're going to endure the deadly environment. So if we're building an adventure, let's say, this would be something of a skill challenge. Like they're trying to get out of the carnival and deadly things are happening around them and they have to be able to get out and escape. Or things are chasing them. Well, we already have the escape, capture the pursuer. All right, I'm going to take a moment and woo-saw while I kind of build. Okay. We have a forgotten carnival. Something unseen has been hunting the area. What is the unseen thing? We're still kind of going with like clowns, jesters, mimes. I really like the mime. What is that? Is it called Terrifier? I think he's kind of like a jester mime thing too. Anyway, every victim leaves behind the same clue. Endure the deadly environment. So I feel like there is still going to be some kind of a chase, but the chase isn't the encounter. It's enduring the deadly environment. You have to be able to move through this environment quickly and avoid any traps that are set. There may be puzzles. There may be dangerous, poisonous gases and things that are kind of, I mean, it's an old forgotten carnival. There's like sharp metal sticking out of everywhere, and glass, and probably that too. Yep. Clown mime hybrid. Yep. Okay. Just letting y'all see my process. Not all of these are going to be like, you know, home runs. Okay. So forgotten carnival, something unseen, hunting, victims leave behind the same clue, endure the deadly environment. The NPC that I rolled is an eccentric hermit. So, this is giving me, if you haven't seen, I think it's called Willy's Wonderland. This is kind of the vibe that it's giving me because that movie has Nicolas Cage. Love Nicolas Cage, by the way. There's so many inside jokes. In my personal life, people know Nicolas Cage holds a special place in my heart. But Nicolas Cage is like this kind of eccentric hermit who, I think the tagline for that movie is, he's not stuck in there with them. They're stuck inside with him. And he proceeds to run a rampage on Five Nights at Freddy's type creatures. I'm kind of seeing an eccentric hermit. I think because of that, that's what I'm seeing is like the eccentric hermit is the guy who has been here all along, or he's been living nearby, keeping an eye on this abandoned carnival because he's the only one that knows that something darker lives within, and he's the bastion against these forces coming out into the wide world. He's the one that's been managing their population and keeping them from overtaking us. He's the only one that knows how to kill them. He knows their weak spots. I kind of get that vibe. Because otherwise, I'm not sure what this eccentric hermit, if he's not like the wise old person that guides the party to success, he could be the eccentric hermit that is the reason for all of this. Ooh, I like this. He was the reason this abandoned carnival, maybe it used to be a carnival, it was a great carnival, and then he's the reason it was abandoned and forgotten. Something he set off. And so now he has given himself the task of, well, this is my penance, is to watch over this carnival. Oh, I really like that. I really, really like that. Okay, all right. The loot is a forgotten cache of something. The loot is forgotten cache of something. Interesting. Okay, so funny how I didn't mean to do this, but in the word choice that I used of forgotten, it's a forgotten cache of something. The setting is a forgotten carnival. That was very unintentional, but now it has me thinking that there is a link. Unintentionally, there was a link. So maybe there was something at this carnival, and then the hermit set off a chain of events that turned this into an abandoned, forgotten, haunted, whatever you want to call it, carnival. My first thought was it's a forgotten cache of people. What if all the people that were there at the carnival, the festival that day, became ghosts, or like, they're trapped in this forgotten realm of this carnival. And so he has been like just watching and babysitting over this thing in the hopes that he can figure out how to like banish the spell and release these people. Oh, could you imagine how long has it been? If it's been like, now my brain is going into weird places of like, how old is this hermit? Was he a kid? What if he was a kid at the carnival and he did something stupid? That makes so much more sense. And that is what kicked off the chain of events. So he has been this like hermit living near this carnival all this time. He's now an old grizzly man. But I wonder if all these souls that got trapped, like, then if it's successful, have they just been like in stasis this whole time? Like, let's say, I don't know, 60 years. Has 60 years gone by and then they're going to be free and then like it's a whole new world for them? Or will they have also aged? Or maybe it's more of their souls can't rest. Maybe they're all part of this haunted thing and their souls just will never rest. Oh, these guys can't die. All these ghosts, all these haunted, twisted things in the carnival, they can't die until he like does whatever he needs to do to release it, and then the souls are free. There's so many ways you can take this. I love this. I love how that the fact that he was a kid and now has just been living there this entire time, and now he's an old man. I really, really like that. All right. I think that concludes our round 1 of horror Ad-Hoc Hooey. It's always so much fun. I think I always say that. I need to stop saying that. It was a lot of fun though. It really ignites my brain to do these exercises, and I hope it does the same for you. If not, I would love to hear like, what did you think of? I mean, is it whenever me and my husband watch movies, if he has a theory and then he says it out loud, I then cannot like unhook my brain from that theory to think of my own thing. So sometimes I wonder if I'm doing this and you guys are watching it unfold, do you also end up just coming up with the same idea that I have come up with? Or have you taken this set of data and created a completely different story? Because if you have, I would love to hear that. because this is the reason why you can have authors creating unique stories that are basically the same story, but it's so different. Anyway, I'm just nerding out. Time to move on. That was Ad-Hoc Hooey. My horror Hooey. All right, let's get to the community topic. Because since we're talking about horror movies, oh, I'm so excited. Okay, I really want to talk about this because this is more of my like I'm gonna get on it like the I need a therapist. I'm gonna get on my therapist couch. There we go. Because when it comes to horror movies, there is one element of horror movies that is the scariest thing to me. I watch so many horror movies, and I've been watching them for such a long time that I could fall asleep happily and not have bad dreams about whatever it is that I'm watching. Unless if the monster, the ghost, the thing, whatever the scary thing is, if it's, running after people and, doing horrible things to them, I'm fine with that. If it turns to the screen and it is looking at me through that screen, I am 110% terrified. I will not look at the TV. I don't look at my mirrors at night when I go to the bathroom. I am terrified that something will be looking back at me. So, because of that, if I'm going to rank any horror movies that are like the scariest to me, the ones that came to mind first were The Ring. That one, okay, spoilers anybody. So, I mean, we're going to be talking about movies here. But in The Ring, there is a moment when she crawls out of she's not necessarily looking at you, but she crawls out of the TV and she starts coming at you, and she's coming at the screen. I shit you not, I probably jumped out of my theater chair and like jumped back 3 rows. That terrifies me so much, and it still does. I honestly think of The Ring as, to me, one of the scariest movies because of that moment. Because even though watching it no longer terrifies me, but it always brings me back to the first time that happened and how terrified I was the first time that happened. This isn't a movie, but the Thriller video, Michael Jackson's Thriller, at the very end, he turns and he is looking at the camera with these creepy cat eyes. And then it zooms in for forever, like minutes spent looking at these eyeballs staring back at me. I cannot. I love the video. And then we get to the end and I will either fast forward and be like, la 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 la, don't look, la la la, is it over? Like, I can't. There's a newer movie called, I think it's called Smile or The Smile. I'm not sure. And that one, wow. Okay, I'm getting goosebumps. I'm getting goosebumps talking about it because here's the thing, folks. My husband is a shift worker. I am home alone fairly often. And I'm home alone at night by myself. Well, with the dogs. Fairly often. And so anyway, I started watching The Smile. I think this was last year or maybe 2 years ago. I can't remember. When it was a new movie. And I think the first time, the premise is that there is a like paranormal type being, creature, whatever, that inhabits a host body and will, like, that it's in them when they look at you, turn, and smile. And their smile is almost like the Joker smile. Like, it is extremely exaggerated. And they kind of look down at you like this. Like, their face is down, but they're looking right at you. And then the smile is extremely exaggerated. The first time that happened, I haven't had to do this in a very long time. I had to turn the movie off. And I had to go watch, like, Disney movies until I went to bed. And then I had to wait for my husband to be home. Even though he wasn't watching it with me, like, I needed that comfort before I could finish the movie. And then once I finished the movie, I was fine. And now that I know I could totally watch it again and be fine. It is still very terrifying to me to even look at it. I will kind of have this uncomfortable moment where I'm just like, I'm not staring at you while you're staring at me. Okay, now you're not staring. Okay, I can keep watching the movie. Are you going to watch Ice Cream Man? I haven't heard of it, and now I'm going to look it up because if it's horror, then yes, I will watch it. And then last on the list is The Grudge. Same reasons. It's only moments, but there are moments when this thing just kind of like gets up, into the screen, into the camera, if you will, and is just staring. I don't know why that. I would love for you all to have this I can speak English, introspective moment to see if you can identify what is the scariest thing and why does that scare you? Because I'm still trying to figure it out. I don't know why. I keep thinking that maybe there is some like traumatic moment in my youth that I don't remember that maybe has been translated into my brain as like, because I have no trouble looking people in the eye. I'm looking you in the eye right now. Granted, it's a camera, but I have no trouble looking people in the eye and conversing with them. So I don't think that's it. I don't know what it is, but it is terrifying. So this is the community topic. I would love to know what is the thing. I mean, people love scary movies. People love scary stories, but what is the thing that makes the story the scariest to you? And can you identify why? I'm going to end on this topic with just a really quick little anecdotal story. I've probably talked about it on a couple of interviews, but I was probably 3 years old or under. And we were in the Philippines. This is a story my mother has told me. Obviously, I was 3. I don't remember it like 100% in detail. What I'm told is that she put Wonder Woman on and then went to go take a shower and left me in front of the TV. This is one of those TVs. It's a big wooden console TV that sat on the ground. And when she got out of the shower, I was banging my head on the screen of the TV, like hard enough to draw blood. And the credits for Wonder Woman were playing. Now, there's a whole nother funny, scary thing that I can tell you about that impacted me up until I was about 11, connected to this story of Wonder Woman TV, me hitting my head on the TV. But when I think about like horror movies kind of breaking that fourth wall of the monster is looking at you, the monster is coming at you, here I come out of the screen, I do wonder if there was something with Wonder Woman, like even if it was like subliminal messaging or what. I mean, who knows back in the day how old, it was like late 70s, early 80s. I mean, they could have been doing subliminal messaging. I don't know. But something happened. And that, I'm just very curious if that is the reason why I'm terrified that something will come out of the screen at me. If that is the origin or not. All right. So community topic, would love to hear what has scared you the most and why. I'm going to wrap up with some quick homework based off of the world building that we did today. So we were talking about cause and effect, how to build out your one cool thing, thinking about how it affects everything else. So your homework or your encouragement of the day is to invent a thing for your world, whatever that cool thing is. It could be a creature, it could be a magic item, it could be a cool natural disaster like an everlasting storm. It could be a spell. It could be a really interesting law, like a weird law. It could be a food. It could be a holiday. Whatever that one cool thing is, I want you to think about 5 things. I'm going like this. 5 things. Guys, I'm a writer, not a mathematician. 5 things that changed because that one thing exists. So that is your homework. That is your encouragement for creativity. I really enjoy you. Thank you for being here for my After Hours podcast. Bye.